right, so this question on the right is asking us to find the LCD. And we have two rational expressions here, and they both have denominators. So we need to find the least common denominator. We need them to be the same. So one way to ask this is to say, this fraction on the left needs to have everything that this fraction on the right has. And you can say, what's missing? Well, when I look at the 8 part, right, the 8 part, does it have a 4 in it? Yeah, 8 is 4 times 2. So there's already a 4 in here, so I don't need any numbers. What about the x part? Well, I have 2 x's here and 3 here. So do I have all 3 x's here? No, I don't. I'm missing an x. So the fraction on the left, I need to increase it by a factor of x. Okay, and now my denominator would be 8x to the third. Now let's look at the fraction on the right. What is this fraction missing in the denominator that this one has? Okay, well, let's look at the numbers. I have a 4, but that one has an 8. Is my 8 included in this 4? No. So what do I need to do to that 4 to make it an 8? And I need to multiply times 2. Now let's look at the x's. In the fraction on the right, I have x to the third. I have 3 x's. The one on the left, I have 2. So are all 2 of the ones on the left contained in the one on the right? Yes. Do I need to change this to make it look like this one? No, those 2 x's on the left are already in the x on the right. So let's see what happens when I put my denominators together. The fraction on the left, I'm going to get 8x to the third. And the fraction on the right, I'm going to get 4 times 2 is 8, x to the third. So this is the smallest way to make these both the same. So the least common denominator here is 8x to the third. Could you use 16x to the third as a common denominator? Yeah. 32x to the third? Yeah, because 4 and 8 both go into 16. They both go into 32. But it's not the least common denominator. So let's look at one other way to find the LCD. And that's to break it down into small factors. All right, so when I look at 8x to the third, let's talk about that number 8. Prime numbers, 8 is 2 times 4, which is 2 times 2 times 2. And x's, I have 2 x's, so x and x. Okay, that's 8x squared. If I multiplied this out, I would get 8x squared. Let's look at the 4x to the third. Well, 4 is 2 times 2, and now I have x to the third, so x, x, x. So I know that my LCD is going to have 2's and it's going to have x's. How many? Well, I have to make sure I accommodate both of these. So when I'm looking at 2's, I'm not going to use just 2 of them. That'll only get me a 4. That won't give me the 8. I need to find out which one of these has the most amount, and I need to use that. So I'm going to use 3 2's. I don't need to use 5 2's, right? That would give me 32, but I don't need that because I know that 8 and 4 both go into 8. And then when I look at my x's, how many x's do I need? Well, I find the one with the most, which is this one, and I'm going to use that. And now you're going to see that 2 times 2 times 2 times x times x times x is 8x to the third. So that's 2 ways to find the LCD when you're talking about rational expressions.